My best friend, or the one I called my brother, stole $10 million worth of my real estate. I was 25 when we started. Neither of us had any capital, no connections, no experience, only energy, ambition, and the feeling that if we didn't risk it now, we would spend our lives watching others succeed. The first apartment was in terrible condition. Old building, peeling walls, a musty smell. The documents were messy, the seller had debts, and the neighbors didn't care at all. We went to the property ourselves after work. We tore down old wallpaper. We carried out trash. I remember sitting on the floor among bags of cement, talking about how one day we'd have a whole portfolio of properties. Back then, it sounded like a joke. I handled finding properties, renovations, and workers. He took care of the paperwork, deals, and legal formalities. From the beginning, this was our agreement, and it worked. One apartment led to a second. 2 became 3. Then we started buying small commercial spaces, rentals, resales. We grew slowly but steadily, year after year. We didn't create complex contracts between us. We didn't detail every single clause, because we trusted each other. I knew his family. He knew mine. We celebrated holidays together. We talked about more than just money. I was certain someone who has been with you for 10 years would never betray you. Now I realize how naive that was. By the time we were 35, we had a serious portfolio. Several apartments, commercial properties, plots of land, millions in assets, stable income, a reputation among people who understood the market. From the outside, we looked like perfect partners. But inside, things were changing. He started making decisions without me. He would say things like, "This is just a formality. It'll be more profitable this way." The lawyers advised it. I believed him because I didn't want to doubt. Gradually, part of the property started being registered through power of attorneys. Through companies I was technically part of, but I didn't understand the details. I was busy with operations. He controlled everything else. And at some point, I realized I was no longer in control at all. I started asking questions and got cold, short answers. No irritation, no conflict. And that was the most terrifying part. Then came the day I'll remember, down to the minute. I opened the documents, checked the registry, checked everything again, and realized I no longer owned almost anything. The properties were transferred, not directly, through a chain of companies, through documents I had signed over the years, never imagining they would be used against me. Legally, everything looked clean. Formally, it was all lawful, but in reality, I had been erased. 10 years of life, 10 years of work, 10 years of trust. He took almost everything we had built together. When I tried to talk to him, he said it was business and that circumstances worked out this way. No regret, no explanations. At that moment, I understood something terrifying. He had been preparing for this a long time, and I hadn't. It wasn't the money that hurt. It was realizing that someone you started from nothing with could suddenly make you irrelevant. I could have snapped. I could have gone to war. I could have done something stupid. But I stopped because I realized emotions are exactly what he was counting on. I stayed silent. I began dissecting everything step by step, deal by deal, year by year. I checked dates, signatures, deadlines, ownership chains. It took months, sleepless nights, cold focus. And slowly I started seeing the cracks, mistakes, violations, small things he thought no one would notice. Some properties lacked proper approvals. Some deadlines had been broken. Some conflicts of interest existed in ways that violated the law. I began to act, quietly, methodically. Lawyers, lawsuits, audits, investigations. Transactions began to stall. Partners started asking questions. Banks became nervous. He wrote to me himself for the first time in years. But it was no longer a conversation between friends. It was a conversation between people who knew each other too well. Months went by. Some properties were returned to me. The rest became a problem for him. He lost trust. He lost partners. He lost opportunities. In the end, he was left with nothing. Not because I wanted revenge, but because betrayal always carries a price. And the most important lesson I learned in those 10 years, business can be built on friendship, but it must be protected with documents, because one day you might wake up and realize everything you built over years no longer belongs to you. And if you think it couldn't happen to you, I thought the same. After I regained part of the properties, I realized that life would never be the same. Not because money or apartments have magical value, but because trust, that's what vanished forever. Every meeting with people, every contract, every new project now required double-checking. I stopped taking words at face value. I stopped seeing the world through the eyes of an idealist. But there was freedom in that. I learned to see opportunities where before I only saw risk. I learned to value my own efforts, not someone else's promises. And most importantly, I learned to build systems that work even without my constant supervision. I started doing business differently. Documents, transparent. All shares and rights, secured and protected. Every new partner goes through a thorough vetting process. Not because I became suspicious or vengeful, but because I understood the cost of trust and the price of losing it. And I never wanted to find myself in a position where I could wake up and realize that all my work had vanished as if it had never existed. Sometimes I think about how things could have turned out differently. If I had started checking documents sooner, if I had trusted words a little less, if I had once used the same methods he later used. But regret is too costly. Much more valuable is the experience that stays with you forever. Today, when I look at new projects, at new deals, I don't just see numbers and profitability. I see people, their motives, their weaknesses. I see potential traps and ways to avoid them. I've learned to recognize red flags before they become problems. And most importantly, I know I can trust only myself. The paradox is that it was betrayal that gave me freedom. The freedom to act without illusions. The freedom to build a business where decisions are made openly and honestly. The freedom not to fear losing what was never truly mine. And now I tell this story not to seek pity. I tell it for those who are just starting their journey. For those who believe in friendship, honesty, people, and shared dreams. Trust but verify. Build but document. And remember, ambition and energy are excellent, but without structure and protection, they can easily turn into nothing. In the end, the lesson isn't that the world is cruel. The lesson is that the world can be fair if you're willing to protect what you've built. If you're willing to work not just with your hands and mind, but with attention, patience, and caution. And then, even if someone tries to take everything from you, you will remain whole. Because true value isn't in property, it's in how you protect it.